I'm going to give you a quick 5-minute tour of Herdsman Lake, which is Perth's largest metropolitan inland lake or water system or whatever, and it's one of a series of lakes that runs along the coastal strip. Now, I did a video on how to get there, coming along this horrible new path in Selby Street, and one of the features of Herdsman Lake is the amount of wildlife there. It's, I guess you call it a bird sanctuary. Over on the right-hand side there was some kind of park bird thing. And as I went around, I didn't count the number of species that I saw, because I can hardly tell one duck from another. But yeah, there was a lot of bird life around here, that's for sure. It's just a nice place to go around. I guess it's a bit like going to Centennial Park, although probably a bit larger. And, you know, there's paths that go around the lake like this. Some of them are made out of crushed rock, some are asphalt, some are concrete. There's just a whole mix. But, you know, if you're on a gravel bike or a mountain bike, it's absolutely perfect. Maybe not so good on a road bike because there are some bits that get a bit wet and muddy when it rains. And when it's been raining a lot, the lake does fill up and these paths, you know, flood in places. There is a bit of magpie swooping. This area here was actually closed off because of swooping and you had to go around it. Not a bad way, I think, of dealing with swooping. You know, instead of sending people through an area where magpies are swooping, if you can work out where they won't swoop you, well, just tell people to go around it. Now, over on the left, you can see fencing and stuff. As we pop out of here, you'll see some housing on our left as well. About 40 years ago, they filled in a reasonable chunk of the old swamp, I guess, and put housing on it. And we'll see some of that housing in a minute. I could never work out when I was a kid why they would fill in a mosquito-infested swamp and build housing on it, because there's still going to be an absolute truckload of mosquitoes around the place. And I'm one of those people that mosquitoes find very attractive. This was a very interesting place. It seemed to be abandoned. Don't ask me what it is, I haven't looked it up. But just this big, impressive building overlooking the lake. And as far as I could see, no one in it. I did stick my head over the fence because I wanted to just, you know, see what was there. And it was just all weeds and bin chickens. So, I don't know, maybe it's a bin chicken sanctuary. I got no idea. Nice little bit of statuary in the middle of the lake. And, you know, it's some bits of this are a bit like a golf course. I was riding along sections of it thinking, am I on a fairway here? Am I about to get clobbered by a golf ball? But no, it's just very nicely manicured, reclaimed swamp. Now, the problem I have with the circuits I've done, like I found this by accident a couple of weeks ago, is choosing the wrong paths. So, you know, if you can find paths that are well inside the lake area, and it's very pleasant to ride, but there's then paths that run around the edge of the park, I guess, and, you know, you've got traffic. Now, of course, this would be a good path for commuting. It's nice and wide, it's flat, although it's, you know, covered in patches, etc. But, you know, if you're commuting across to, say, Swanbourne, Scarborough, to the beach, this would be great. Now, the problem is, the further around the lake you go, the worse the paths get until it just deteriorates down to old-fashioned footpath. I think there is, in fact, some paths over on the other side of these houses to my right. I just screwed up and didn't find them. And eventually I ended up on a bike lane out on the road. At least it's a marked bike lane and it's reasonably wide. But then this gave out as well. I came around a corner and there was just no more bike lane suddenly, and you're back on the road. So you really have to know your paths, I guess, to do the lake well and you know, avoid traffic, because I did get a pass there that was, you know, a bit closer than usual. But anyway, that's Herdsman Lake, a nice little frolic on a nice day, and you know, well worth going and having a look at, especially if